not shoveling snow. I'm starting to get cold. Hey, check it out. Looks like I got my tips frosted. Huh.
Few YouTubers have experienced the kind of meteoric rise that Luke Nichols achieved with his channel Outdoor Boys. What started as a humble outdoor and family adventure vlog quickly grew into a global sensation, amassing nearly 15 million subscribers and billions of views. This unprecedented success made him one of the most beloved and recognized faces on YouTube. This is why it came as a shock when Luke announced he would no longer be making videos. Join us as we tell you the real reason why Luke Nichols from Outdoor Boys has quit making videos.
Smearing some melted butter all over my bread. Got a little bit of honey here. Fried bread, honey butter, and Spam. The breakfast of champions right there.
Luke Nichols' decision to step away from his wildly successful YouTube channel Outdoor Boys stemmed primarily from the overwhelming consequences of viral fame, something he never fully anticipated when he started sharing simple wilderness and family adventure videos. While millions saw the channel as wholesome, educational, and entertaining, the intense spotlight that accompanied this humongous popularity introduced a level of public exposure that began affecting the Nichols family's daily life in uncomfortable ways. In the 2 years leading up to his retirement, Outdoor Boys saw unprecedented growth, reaching nearly 15 million subscribers. Surprisingly, much of this growth happened rapidly, with 12 million subscribers joining in just 18 months. This exponential expansion catapulted Luke from a hobbyist content creator into one of the most recognizable faces in the outdoor adventure niche on YouTube. However, this fame came at a price. The Nichols family found themselves increasingly recognized in public spaces, with fans approaching them for photos, conversations, or even impromptu meet and greets while grocery shopping or on vacations. Luke described the experience as flattering at first, but ultimately exhausting and intrusive, particularly for his children, who had no say in the level of public exposure their lives received. Luke made it clear in his farewell video that the decision to step back was deeply personal. He feared that if they continued at the same pace, they would soon be the family that couldn't go to the park without being recognized, which contradicted everything he valued about a quiet, nature-focused family life. He made a conscious decision to exit before fame could completely overtake their ability to live anonymously. Beyond public exposure, a key motivation behind Luke's exit was his desire to restore balance and presence in his personal life. As a husband and father to 3 boys, Luke has always emphasized the importance of shared experiences: camping trips, fishing adventures, bushcraft skills, and backyard projects. Ironically, the very YouTube channel that documented these family moments began pulling him away from them. Content creation for a successful channel like Outdoor Boys isn't just about filming an adventure. It involves extensive planning, scripting, editing, managing social media, responding to sponsors, and constant engagement with a massive audience. These demands accumulated into what Luke called a second full-time job, except one that didn't have clear boundaries. While his videos showed smiles and family time, the behind-the-scenes reality was often stressful, with days stretching into long nights filled with editing and technical fixes, robbing him of the simple joys of being a dad and husband. This realization struck deeper as his children began expressing their own interests and dreams. Luke shared that he wanted to be around more, not just physically, but mentally. In particular, his eldest son had begun developing his own YouTube channel, Outdoor Tom, which gave Luke a fresh perspective. Rather than continuing as the face of a massive brand, he decided his energy would be better used mentoring and supporting his son, guiding him through the online world while avoiding some of the challenges Luke himself encountered. Another major factor influencing Luke Nichols' departure was the increasingly unsustainable workload and physical demands of being a full-time YouTube content creator. While many viewers saw his lifestyle as idyllic, camping in remote areas, building bushcraft shelters, and spending quality time outdoors, the reality behind the scenes was far more grueling. Creating high-quality, engaging content on a weekly basis became a non-stop commitment, one that eroded his energy and eventually led to what he acknowledged as severe creator burnout. Nichols frequently pushed himself to meet the demands of an ever-growing audience. This meant filming in extreme weather, hiking long distances with heavy gear, and editing videos for hours, often late into the night. He mentioned times when he had to shoot episodes while physically unwell or emotionally drained, pushing past his limits in order to maintain the consistency and quality fans had come to expect. Over time, the combination of physical exertion, lack of rest, and constant deadlines began taking a toll on his health and mental clarity. Burnout for content creators is a well-documented phenomenon, especially among those who mix their work with their personal lives as seamlessly as Luke did. There's often little separation between home and the job. The performance pressure, especially when millions are watching, also becomes relentless. For Luke, the joy that initially came from sharing his passions started turning into obligation. In stepping back, Luke prioritized his long-term health and well-being. He acknowledged that if he continued down the same path, he would not only exhaust himself physically, but also risk becoming resentful of the very thing he once loved. By walking away before reaching that point, he preserved his love for the outdoors, his family, and his own peace of mind. A lesser-known but significant reason behind Luke's decision to quit was his frustration with the rampant misuse and theft of his content. As the Outdoor Boys channel exploded in popularity, Luke noticed that his videos were being reposted, often without permission, on various social media platforms and third-party websites. He said his family has been viewed more than 4 billion times. According to Luke, these reposts often accumulated millions and, in some instances, billions of additional views. He said his family has been viewed more than 4 billion times. The scale of the problem made it nearly impossible to police effectively. But beyond intellectual property concerns, the misuse of his content had real-world consequences. As videos circulated far beyond his own control, more and more people began recognizing him and his family, sometimes in places or contexts he hadn't anticipated. Clips of his children originally shared in wholesome settings were being reshared in environments that felt exploitative or invasive. This loss of control over his own family's image struck a deep nerve. Ultimately, Luke concluded that continuing to produce content would only perpetuate the cycle. The more material he published, the more it was vulnerable to unauthorized use. He wanted to protect not only his intellectual property, but also the privacy and dignity of his family. While Luke Nichols has stepped back from being the front-facing star of Outdoor Boys, he is not entirely withdrawn from the world of content creation. Instead, he is transitioning into a new phase, one where he plays a more supportive and mentoring role. Luke has hinted at a possible role behind the scenes for other creators or educational programs. With his experience in law, content production, marketing, and family-friendly storytelling, he's uniquely positioned to help up-and-coming creators build ethical, sustainable channels. He may eventually offer consulting services or behind-the-scenes collaboration on projects that align with his values. This transition is about regaining balance. It allows Luke to stay engaged with the creative community without the pressures of being its public face. It also reinforces his belief in empowerment. He wants to lift others up rather than remaining at the center. By stepping back, Luke isn't retreating from creativity. He's redirecting it in a healthier, more intentional way that supports his family and helps others thrive without making the same sacrifices he had to. When Luke Nichols released his farewell video titled "Goodbye," the response from the Outdoor Boys community was immediate and deeply emotional. Fans, fellow creators, and longtime viewers flooded the comments section with messages of gratitude, admiration, and sadness. Many shared how his videos had helped them reconnect with nature, bond with family members, or find comfort during difficult times. The overwhelming sentiment was not disappointment, but respect. In a digital world often driven by metrics and monetization, Luke's decision to walk away from a channel nearing 15 million subscribers was a rare and bold move. Prominent YouTubers, including MrBeast, publicly praised Luke for choosing family and well-being over fame. MrBeast tweeted, "Good for him. To know what matters to him and stick to it is admirable." This echoed a common refrain across social media. Luke became a role model not just for outdoor living, but for intentional living. His legacy is multifaceted. Creatively, he left behind hundreds of high-quality videos that span wilderness survival, family adventures, fishing, and DIY projects. These videos continue to be a source of joy and education for millions. It's clear that even in his absence from the spotlight, his impact will endure. His audience didn't just follow him for his content, they connected with his authenticity, humor, and humility. In stepping away, Nichols reminded everyone that sometimes the most courageous thing a person can do is say enough and choose a life that feels truly whole.